Nampak kan?
Sikit.
Nampak atas kan?
Ketah tu. Okey. Okey, nampak dah.
Cantik.
Cantik.
Kalau berani tak nampak kan?
Tak. Dia dah. Dia just
Dah start kan? Dah tekan kan?
belum lagi.
Dah ada. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good day to our audit one lecturer, Madam Masniza binti Subar. My name is Kumama Ashraf bin Kufauzi, and me and my group will present about the National Kidney Foundation Singapore fraud scandal. Okay, before we go further about this case, I would like to share definitions of fraud, which is fraud meaning is the wrongful or criminal deception intended to result in financial or personal gain, or we can understand fraud as a person or thing intended to deceive others, typically by unjustifiable claiming or being credited with accomplishment or qualities. Okay, for the introduction of this case, in this modern day, there are so many fraud cases has been reported and happened in the world. This problem happening at many global and local companies that may repeat like Enron and WorldCom scandals. Referring to Wikipedia, accounting fraud is happened to a person intentionally manipulating of financial statement to create a facade of a company's financial health. It involves workers that manipulate account of the organization itself and lead misleading to investor and shareholder. The intentional misstatement or alteration of accounting statements such as sales, expenses and other many factors in gaining profit, such as inflation company share value, obtaining more accounting fraud at the request or being pressured by the employers or suspected to be personal criminal guilty. Many of the scandal of accounting fraud that happen in mostly company are made by the higher ranking officer. For example, in Enron, their CEO make millions from the accounting fraud that he's made. This show that ethic in working which not apply the perpetrators. There are also so many causes that may the perpetrators doing the fraud, and we will explain this based on our case, the National Kidney Foundation that in Singapore. The term cook the book. Cook the book is a fake show exercise performed by organization to divert their money related diction. Regularly cooking the books includes expending money related information to yield beforehand non-existent income. Model of strategies used to cook the book included quickening income, deferring costs, controlling benefit, design and actually engineering leases. And how to break down the cook the book. During the first year of the new millennium, Fortune 500 organization, for example Enron and WorldCom, were found to have cooked the book to enhance their money-related figures. The subsequent outrage gave spectacular and controllers several shock concerning the truth that organizations were equipped for concealing reality between lines of financial data. The really spectacular, certainly, the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002 was made. The demonstration of Congress made arrangement to secure financial specialists against future occurrence of corporate extortion. Indeed, even the Sarbanes-Oxley setup There are as yet various ways organization cook the book in so many news way. Next.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To introduce myself, my name is Muhammad Ashraf bin Aslan. As you can consider me as the second Ashraf from the previous part. So to continue our agenda, so we will focus on fraud and scandal in the National Kidney Foundation, which is the NKF in Singapore. So to give a little bit backstory, this NGO is mostly focused on the kidney patient. However, this led to embarrassment as the CEO itself, Mr. Didi Durai, mismanaged his position and capacity to squander donations were supposedly intended for the patient considerations. So the question came to mind: how the fraud happening and how it was concealed? So it all begins in the 19 April 2004 as the Straits Times released the article called the NKF Controversy, Relativity, Revolutionary. Ya ni, Pak ni tak ya. Okay. So it all begins like how fraud was. It all begins when when the Straits Times released the article in 19 April 2004, which gave the doubts to the community about how the NGO works, and it may came concern especially to those who are philanthropists and the local donors. So there's another special part that we're focusing on as the temporary workers were asked to replace the company tap, which is gold-plated taps, who are actually the NKV donors, given the doubt that he was replacing an expensive tap, raising which gave the doubts as he also the NKF donors. So this story gave an outrage among the society, as like in the long run the company itself choose to sue the publisher of this article. So they request about 3.24 millions for the damage. However, as the first day of the trial, things not go so well for them. It was revealed that the Mr. Durai received a huge yearly pay somewhere about 500 to 6,000 Singaporean dollars, which about 1.8 million altogether within 3 years span of his wage, which is quite substantially lot of money for just the NGO CEO. So with the lack of transparency, the NKF decided to pull back those lawsuits. However, the damage had been done. And eventually, the Singaporean Health Minister Khaw Boon Wan holds the public interview in 14 July 2005 and declares the abdication of Mr. Durai and the whole NKF board. So there's a question among so whose is the whistleblower? An independent investigation led by KPMG published a 300-page of report in December 2005. Within that report, it reveals that the company itself. It reveals that only 10% of every dollar of the donor went to the patient care, and the rest of it, which the NKF guarantee around 52%, which is the rest received by the NKF, which is about 52 cents out of each dollar. So another proof that supports these facts that the NKF granted the IT contract about 3 million Singaporean dollar to Fortis System and 4 million Singaporean dollar to Proton Web, which is possessed by Faris Abu Bakar, a nearby close companion of Mr. Durai. Particularly, oddly, neither of the projects were completely effective, yet no move made against the organizations, which is KPMG considered as very odd. Found this very odd. So to continue our agenda is what is the pressure, opportunities, and rationalization of those perpetrating the fraud. So in my own opinions, for our aspect of pressure, maybe within the society of Singapore, which is highly 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 expensive for those who living in such a cozy living, may need some much more money in helping for in what I call it in helping their families or even themselves. So maybe this the pressure itself in searching money could apply not only them but those other staff who may need money in short amount of time, which eventually leads to having a big scam for those who may like it or not. For the opportunity for aspect of opportunities, as for the NGOs, sadly, even though is collecting for in helping people, the frauds can be happening as the framework within the NGO is fairly weak, and they also collect a huge sum of money without people like what they call that constrain it with the other aspect of in security in using the money properly for domestically for the people for those who need it. And lastly, for rationalization is all about the moral of that person itself. This happened as the Mr. Durai neglects his duties as he sees these chances in misuses for his own advantage rather than being doing his job in helping people, and especially those who are victims who supposedly give much better medicines and better treatment rather than being uses as other people advantages. And this not also to NKF. This is also to apply other NGOs and other charity organizations. And that's all for me. I will continue our agenda with my other friends.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Ashraf Bezo Kafli. Okay, Ashraf. Ashraf Alright. My topic is the consequences, effect, penalties imposed for the auditor, company, management, and any relevant parties that related to the NKF Singapore. A. KPMG as auditor. KPMG were appointed as the auditor for new NKF until now due to their independence. B. The company itself. Under the cause of well-being, Clegman Cow, another National Kidney Foundation Board and initiative were named to remake open trust in the association. On 21st July 2005, another NKF board was named with Garrett E as the director. E was at the time leader of the Singapore Council of Social Services, as previous named individual from Parliament and an individual from the Council of Governance of Institution of Public Character. Goh Chi Leok, previous leader of the National Skin Centre, acknowledged the job of Break, CEO of the NKF on 26 July 2005. The new board quickly embarked to update and rebuild the manner in which the NKF worked in order to upgrade the financial reasonability, keep up responsibility and straightforwardness, and enhance its service. C. Management. Durai was captured on 17 April 2006. He was out on safeguard. However, we remain for preliminary with different individual from the old National Kidney Foundation top management staff. He has likewise consented to pay back Singapore $4 million to the new National Kidney Foundation and was condemned to 3 months in prison for deceiving NKF by creating a $20 receipt. Richard Yong, the previous chairman, Matilda Chua as executive, and Low Se San as treasurer were all together announced bankrupt on 16 May 2007 after offering individual properties worth 7.5 million. Richard Yong left Singapore without authorization at an early stage the morning of 17 May, however, was captured on 4 July 2007 in Hong Kong and removed back to Singapore on 3 August 2007, where he was discharged the following day. That NKF exact on him and getting away from Singapore hours before being pronounced a bankrupt. Yong said that he had left to settle some close to home issue. He was condemned to 15 months in prison for the 3 charges. 5 different charges were thought about amid the condemning. And last but not least, D. Any relevant parties. Impact on charity sector. Following the general population clamour over the absence of transparency in beneficent association, the legislature initiated various measures to give governing role in the philanthropy sector. One of the key measures was the setting up of the Inter-Ministry Committee, IMC, on regulation of charity and institution of public character on October 2005 to patch up the area and fix the administration structure of philanthropies. The conclusion of the report. Taking everything into account, this report broke down the degree of transparency and trust between the general population. And this magnanimous association, before the outrage broke out, it very well may be viewed as that transparency was not a significant issue, as there was that point a set-up level of trust among NKF people in general, such a large number, a long stretch of history. What's more, NKF being such an open association would likewise must be sufficiently transparent with the end goal to abstain from giving a false picture to general population. After the outrage, while trust was flooded between people in general and NKF, right, it is additionally essential to take note that the general population not to overlook that gift as yet expected to encourage poor patient. In conclusion, if one somehow happen to answer the inquiry on whether financial benefit or CSR is more vital for the achievement of a partnership, both would unavoidably add to achievement. Also, it is unquestionable that a corporate can exist without both of variables. The end.